Welcome back to Dalker. This video is going to be my complete review of Haikyu. I just finished it this afternoon. Oh my god. Well, I've watched through all of the anime twice. This is my first complete start to finish read through. All physical, besides like a few volumes because I didn't have the physical volume at that point, but it was all physical. And man, dude, I knew I'd loved it before this reread, or before this complete reread, or before this complete read through. Like I have a poster right there. Whoa, more of the Wave of Dalker room V showing off. I have a T-shirt. If I had 10 volumes of the physical before, but I was like, you know what? I want to do a complete read through before the Nekoma CrossFit No Nationals movie comes out, and I did that. And I'm just like, dude, I like it better than One Piece. I think JoJo's is always going to be my number one. I had the JoJo's video on Monday, Tuesday, one of the days. Is this blurry or something? I made it blurrier. I just made it worse. Whatever. I had the JoJo's video earlier this week. I love JoJo's, but Haikyu, I think it surpassed One Piece. And that's crazy to say. I love One Piece. I've read through it twice. I mean, I'm caught up. I'm reading all the weekly chapters. I don't know. I just think my connection to Haikyu is deeper, and it's been longer. And I think like I watched through Haikyu 2019, and like I was watching the To the Top episodes as they were coming out in like the fall of 2020, and then I rewatched it a little bit after that. Like I started it in like 2019, like my sophomore year of high school, and now reading it as a sophomore in college, it's just like it's like re-deepening that, because like One Piece I started it in like 2021, blah 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 blah. Like my Haikyu connection runs deeper than my One Piece connection. So just like this complete read through, it's just like, you know what? It's really putting that nail, and it's like, you know what? You're a Haikyu guy, and I am. I fucking love Haikyu. I'm gonna talk about it because man, it's so good. Like I think Nationals is the peak of the series. And I think that's that's not a very deep thing to say, but I mean like the first two Seijo matches are phenomenal. Like the ones where they lose, and the one where they beat him and then they beat Shiro Torizawa. Like those matches are awesome, but then you get to like the pinnacle of the even like the Tsubaki Hara match, or no, what was that school called? Whatever. Their first nationals match. That was a good match. Kageyama was fine tuning everything. They had to deal with like the sky high serve. Like that was just like, oh, we're at nationals. This is a team that's been here. And then the Inarizaki match, which was previously my favorite match before, because like after watching the anime, I'm like, you know what, Inarizaki is my favorite match. But then after reading the manga, Nekoma match, Kama Medai, even the Black Jackals and the Adlers match, Kageyama versus Hinata, like I'm like, those matches are dope too. Like it just keeps getting better, and I just love this series so much. Like as someone that played a sport in high school, I played lacrosse all 4 years of high school. Like Furodate really understands like the connections that like teammates have like on the field / court and in the classroom, like out of school, and like they know the difference between like it's Kita's whole speech about monsters and how it was whatever the hell the pinch server on Inarizaki number 14, he was talking about how like I'm kind of jealous of Atsumu and Kageyama, like these guys are monsters, but it's like Kita's like saying like it's kind of disrespectful to belittle them, the monsters, because they put in the work. And I've been around teammates that are playing lacrosse in college and are going on to play lacrosse in college. Like I could see that their work was different, and like I didn't have that feeling of jealousy because like I knew I wasn't gonna play lacrosse outside of high school, but I still I put work in myself, and it's just like it's seeing, and the way that Fiordate goes through each of the matches and focuses. This is so blurry. Jesus. Goes through each of the matches. What if I just like rub it with my shirt? He goes through each of the matches, and like each significant character, it talks about like their process and like what got them to where they are. Like Ushijima, Southpaw, best ace in the nation. Like they talk about how his father played volleyball and how his father protected his left hand and like stopped his parents and grandparents from like being like, we should really make him a righty. Like he nurtured that, and then he has that moment later in the final volume where Ushijima goes and meets his father and says like, thank you for protecting what made me me. Like that's just such a it's just the connections and everything. And Oikawa, who wasn't naturally, he became jealous of Kageyama because Kageyama has that monster sort of like, this guy's just like a prodigy, and how like Oikawa, he looked up to that Argentinian Brazilian setter saying like you can't stop until you feel satisfied, and once you feel satisfied, you got to keep going, because Aikawa wasn't born with that like sort of monster feel for the game. Like he had to work for it, while Kageyama also had to work for it. He just had like another level to it. Like he just had that immediate prowess that put him on a step ahead. And Oikawa just could he had to prevent himself from like getting down in the dumps. He had to keep working. And it's just like, dude, it's so good. And then what my favorite character is probably Kita, Inarizaki's captain. He's probably my favorite character just because the role that he plays on that team. Like he's a third year, he's not starting. He only got put in the game 3 or 4 times. But when he's in the game, he's the glue guy. He's on the bench. He's able to, get the Mia twins. He's able to pull them together and be like, you guys gotta chill out. He's able to calm down everything. He's talking to Jin. He's talking to Rentaro. Like he's able to pull the team together. And like his mentality, where it's like his grandmother, taught him like the gods are always watching. Like you have to go through these processes because they're watching. They're looking out for you. But then Kita's like, you know what? These processes feel good. And as someone with OCD, and like I don't have like severe OCD, but like I have these processes. Like I do a lot of the things the same way every day because it allows me to be in a routine. Like when I shower, I'm like, all right, shower. All right, I'm gonna rinse my mouth, floss, mouthwash, brush my teeth, set out my moisturizer and my Q-tip, get in the shower, do everything in the same order, get out of the shower, do everything in the same order, go in my bedroom, do everything, get dressed. Like everything is in the same order. And like that process, like Kita's saying, like that process feels good. Like cleaning, taking care of yourself, playing volleyball, getting better. Like that's just like, it's a process that feels good. And he knew that he wasn't playing volleyball outside of high school, but that process, like it allowed him to like playing lacrosse in high school allowed me to get into these habits of like, it feels good to be active. Like I'm not playing a sport, like an organized sport anymore, but I'm active. Like I'm going on walks every day. I'm playing sports with my friends. Like it's just so cool. And how Furidaze doesn't make these characters all cookie cutter the same. Each character has their own processes of how they go about the sport that they love. Like Hinata saw volleyball on the screen for the first time, and then he's like, you know what, I'm going to practice and play because I want to go to Crossino and be the new little giant. But then, oh wait, he doesn't have the skills yet, so he can be the greatest decoy. And like his processes of just like, he's biking over a mountain every day to get to the school, and he's just working his ass off to become the best volleyball player he can. And then after he graduates, he goes to Brazil to learn the game deeper with beach volleyball. And then you see it in the Black Jackals match, where his balance is so insane because he's so used to battling the sand, which is a tough competitor. And like I think Asahi or Daichi pointed it out, or maybe Coach Ukai did, where it's like he never falls to one knee when he receives it. He's receiving it, and his feet stay planted because he's worked on his balance. Like it's just so good, and it's such a rewarding read. Like Hinata's the main character, yes, but eventually it becomes where Karasuno's the main character, and it's just the coolest feeling. Like I know I love a series when I feel proud about the character. Like let me make a comparison. Like in One Piece, when Luffy's bounty was going up and all the Straw Hat Pirates bounties were going up, and they're being like recognized as like, oh, that's the Straw Hat Pirate, that's the Thousand Sunny, like those are the Straw Hat Pirates. Like I felt like a sense of pride. And I'm like, yeah, those are the pirates that I watched from the bottom up. Like I felt like a sense of pride, being like, yeah, dude, Luffy's finally getting recognition as one of the greatest pirates in the Grand Line. And with Karasuno, the best feeling was whenever they whipped out the Freak Quick for the first time in the game, and the entire audience was just like, what the hell was that? That feeling was like, dude, yeah, I can't tell you how many times I was sitting at this desk, reading my volume and just doing this. Like, let's fucking go. Like, it's just, it pulls you in. Like you're basically part of the team. You're on the bench with Kinoshita, Narita, Yamaguchi, and Shimizu. Like you're just there. You're part of the team. And it's just such a rewarding read. Like you're just watching this team go from the clipped wing crows, the fallen champions. And it's just such a good, it's a feel good read. And I don't think it'll ever top JoJo's, but it's definitely probably my second favorite series of all time now. And I love it. I got this art book for Christmas. I'm probably gonna go through that sometime in the future, but like I just love this series. I want to keep talking about it, honestly. Like it's so good. And it just keeps getting better with time. Like just the way they build everything up. Like you start out like, okay, oh no, Hinata, he's the only good player on this team that he pulled together for this tournament, and then he's whooped by the king of the court, Kageyama, and they had that confrontation moment. Like, oh, what have you been doing all this time? And he's like, I'm going to beat you one day. Oh, end up on the same team. Then they have to work together. Karasuno, Clipped Wing, Fallen Champions. They got to build everything up. And they're like, you know what? We have, this team. We're not even complete yet, but, we're still playing good. We're playing good volleyball. Nishinoya pulls up, the guardian of Karasuno, the guardian deity. Nishinoya's back. It's like, oh, but we also have an ace. Asahi comes back. He has that big moment with Date Tech. And Nishinoya is just there. He's the presence. He has that save against Shiro Torizawa. He has that foot save against Date Tech. Like, it's just so good. And, like, it really is, like, when I think about, like, my favorite characters from Haikyu, like, it's really hard for me to choose. Like, I try to just choose players that aren't on Karasuno. Because, like, their team is just one character to me. Like, it's like a given. Like, if you read this series and you dislike any of the members of Karasuno, I don't know, something's wrong with me. Because it's just so incredible, and like every player has their their process of like becoming likable. Like you see Tsukishima pull up with Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi's just kind of like he's kind of glazing Tsukishima in the beginning, but like Tsukishima's kind of a little brash. He's a little, and he's always a nitwit, but like it's just his personality. And then like you see that development, you're like, oh, this guy's kind of a jerk. Hinata's gonna be playing with this tall guy this entire time. He's kind of a bum. And then he has that moment in the training camp where he's like, I don't really like volleyball that much. Then Yamaguchi's, I almost said Yamaguchi. Whoa. Yamaguchi is saying like, is your pride really that, like, it's just, he develops that love for volleyball, and Bokudo tells him, you'll have that moment where volleyball hooks you. And then he has the block against Usujima in the Shiro Torizawa match. And it's just, everything just comes full circle. You love every character. And even like the bench guys, like, to be fair, Naruto never really has this moment. Like, he comes in as a sub for Hinata in a Kawamedai match, and they almost win, but they lose. He has a few moments where he subs in, but, like, I feel bad for him. He doesn't really have any development similar to that to Kinoshita, where he gets his jump float, Enoshita, where he becomes, he steps in for Daichi in that match. But, like, it's just a group. Like, I feel like you just can't dislike any of these characters, and there's a reason to love every character. Like, Sugawara, he's the third year that was able to swallow his pride and be that motivator on the bench and come in when he needs to for Kageyama, when his face gets blasted with a volleyball, or when they decide to run the two-setters so they have the 5-player synchro attack. Daichi, the strong captain, he has that moment in the Joe Zenzi match where the captain for the other team's like, you know what, I think their captain's really the glue guy. He's the one that always was making those subtle defensive plays. He's just like, he's the captain. He's able to stay calm. He's not in the spotlight, but he's doing his job. Asahi, the ace, he has his big moments in Kawamedai match where he has to show that he's the ace. In the Date Tech match, he has to show that he's the ace. Kageyama and Hinata obviously are like the front runners of like the two most popular characters in the entire series. Like, you're gonna love them. Yamaguchi, shy, timid, develops a jump float. He becomes, the pinch server guy for Karasuno, and becomes the captain in his third year. Tsukishima, like I said, like he's kind of, a jerk in the beginning, but then he has that block against Shiro Torizawa, and he becomes the main focal point of Karasuno's blocking scheme. Like, every character is just, there's in Tanaka, I haven't even talked about Tanaka yet. Like, he has that huge moment in Inarizaki match where Suno was blocking him so much, and then he was whip out that cut shot. He's built up his confidence because he's like a semi ace to Asahi. Like, he has like very similar power, but he has a different playing style, and he's like a reliable guy that you could just send emergency sets to, and he'd punch it through. Like, every character just has they're just amazing, and he's just able to build. Like, my favorite character is Kita, and I like Shohei Fukunaga on Nekoma, and I really like probably Akashi on Fukurodani. Like, there's so many characters to love, and he just does such a great job of just like developing these characters and being like, and also I just love that he would go from like after Karasuno beat Nekoma, it shows almost the entirety of the Fukurodani match against Kiryu, the other top 3 ace. And it's just so good. I could do 1,000 videos on this. I'm gonna keep talking about it for a little bit longer, but I'm just kind of rambling right now. This is less of a review and more just being me spouting love for it. But if you played sports in high school, I beg you to check this out. It, like, obviously I can't go back in time, but it really makes me think, like, I wonder where I'd be right now if I just put in that little extra effort to become a better player in high school, like a better lacrosse player in high school. And I wish I played more sports in high school. Like, I wish I played basketball because I love playing basketball now. I wish I played volleyball because I really want to get good at volleyball. Like, it just fills you with a love for the beauty of sports, and I love sports. So this is a sports channel. I love playing sports. I love playing basketball. I love playing soccer. I love playing lacrosse. I love playing football. Like, I just love activity, and I love the bond it creates with your teammates, with your friends when you're playing with them. Like, it's such a universal thing. Like, when you're on the court with someone, like, they're your enemy, or they're your brother, they're your sister, they're any, like, they're ride or dies. And like, the relationships that I have with my coaches and my teammates from high school, they're gonna be lifetime things. Like, I could always go back and be like, dude, what's up? I miss you, man. Like, let's chop it up. You can always chop it up with them. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just fills me with, it just swells within me. Pause, which is such like a love for the beauty of sports. And it's just so fantastic. And like I said, like, every character is just worth, like, I don't think there's no irredeemable, like, there's no evil in this series. Like, there's no antagonist. There's no, I guess there is really kind of a protagonist, but like, even when like Crossino loses, like, you have a reason to root for the team that beat them. Like, when they lose the Kamameta, you're like, obviously Hinata went down with the fever, and that moment really, that killed me when Takada gives him the speech. Like, I'm just like, God. But even when they lose, you're just like, you know what? Hoshiyumi, he has a chance to prove himself. Hirogami, he has a chance to be like, just keep, I don't know. It's just, when they lose to Abajosai for that first time, like, you're like, oh, that sucks. But like, Oikawa wants that chance to, he has that, epilogue where he's like, that rivalry with Ushijima. Like, you just have a reason. There's just no evil. It's just like a feel-good story about volleyball. And it just sucks that, like, it was a fantastic ending, like, with them, with Hinata and Kageyama fist bumping in the nationals, or in the Olympics. But it's just like, it's just such a fruitful, there's so much more you could tell. And I wish, like, in like 10 to 15 years, Furudate's just like, you know what? I'm going to do like a 5-volume series on just like a little like Cliff Notes version of the second year of high school with Hinata and Kageyama and the new first years. And then 10 years later, I'm going to do a 5-volume thing of the third year where they reach the top 4 center court and lose to, I think they lose to Itachiyama in the third year. Like, there's just so much more to tell. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I wasn't bummed out. Like, I was bummed it had to end. Like, when I finished it this morning, I was just like, dude, there's so much more to tell. And I love it. Like, I don't want it to end. I love reading this. I just love just following these characters around. And it just stinks that there's, I don't know. I don't mean to sound negative about this, but it's just like, when series end, like, most series end in a way, it's like, all right, there's not really much more to tell. But with Haikyu, it's like, there's so much more to tell. And it's just like, damn. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to get that. But you know what? That's what, I don't know, that's what fan fiction artists are for, I guess. But I don't know, I'm going to stop rambling at this point. But dude, check out Haikyu if you haven't. Definitely one of my favorite series of all time. It is fantastic. You're going to love it. I'd find it hard for anybody to dislike this series. It is just such a well-rounded, fantastic series about high school volleyball in Japan. It's literally the best thing ever. Please check it out. I love Haikyu. Haikyu. It's been the only thing on my mind over the last like 3 months when I've been reading it. It's occupied every inch of my brain. It's fantastic. I love it. I love you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe and read or watch Haikyu. Peace out.